presentation, my reflection video on making a game in Unity. Alright, so the objectives were I wanted to learn more about coding since it was in Unity, the C# language. That was supposed to be the main learning curve, but that changed. Wanted to make a 2D game, maybe a 3D game later, and I wanted to learn the basics of Unity in a simple game from mostly scratch. Here are my resources. YouTube channel named Brackies. Here he is. He has this tutorial on how to get Unity set up, some assets in the asset store, and then he has other assorted tutorials about movement and animation and stuff. Awesome. And then there's a Unity 3D video in case I got a 3D. There's my project plan down there. Basically says 2D then 3D. Week 1, learn how to get started in Unity. Tile maps, assets, and movement. Tile maps is just the background, this part right here. Not the background, but the stuff you walk on. And then movement, I got the movement scripts. I'll show you later. Yeah. And then week 2, I made Dario, which is just a Mario that's blue in Photoshop. And then I did the animations for him. And then I had a crouch problem. I'll talk about that later. And then I used that, which is another Brackies video. And then I changed my plans. No 3D game, just 2D game because I wanted to make this game as complete as possible. There's the enemy AI script and the death script videos that I used. Made Goomba green. I made him only walk to the left because that's what Goombas do in the game. Alright, and then week 4, I spent the entire week making this coin because there were a lot of things that were not going right, and I finally got it fixed after a while. I'll show you that in a bit. Got a scoreboard too with the coins. Major problem, the crouching. So I'll play. It was constantly crouching and uncrouching. The problem was the ceiling collider was overlapping the box collider. I'll show you that in a bit. Then the coin. And then here is Unity. So when you look in it, you have your game right here, your scene. And then here's your game. That's where you see the actual game itself with the camera and stuff. All your assets are down here. All my fun tiles or sprites. And here's my scripts down here. And then you have the stuff that's actually in your project. Here's my player right here. And then you see all this stuff under the player. Here's the box collider, and then we go under here. Here's the ceiling collider I was talking about. So the problem was this ceiling collider was inside his head, and now it's not. So if we go back to sprite 1, we can see that this box collider was right here, and then the ceiling collider is right here. And the problem is when they're inside each other, the character controller script sees that and says, "Oh, you're touching touching a block. That means you crouch, and you stay crouched until it's gone." So what it's looking for, what it's supposed to be looking for, is something like this when it loads. Alright, you see our coins. Oh crap. Okay, I'll add a tile to show you what I mean. Here's the tile palette, the tile map. Add a block here. So when I go under this block, it'll stay. I'm not clicking anything right now, and then when I get out, it automatically uncrouches. So I'm not clicking anything right now besides A and D, and when I get out, it immediately goes. That's what it's supposed to do, but since the ceiling collider was in it, it did some funny stuff. Alright, and now the movement script. I got this from the tutorial. I didn't write this myself. Unfortunately, I don't know C#, and I don't want to spend months and months, maybe years on learning C#. So I had to use someone else's code there, and that speaks to the character controller 2D to give us all the movement. And then to the animation. if we put this in here so we can see the animation, we go to click on Dario and we go to the run animation, we click play. You can see that it's run animation. You can go through the individual tile, the animation pictures. There's a jump, idle, crouch, all the fun stuff. Probably fix that. Alright. Okay. And then to set up the animations, we need to go into this, the animator. And so this is where everything revolves around the player idle. And that's when he's just standing, right? So that leads to the player running, and then the player crouching, and then the jump is a little bit different because you can immediately go from anything to jumping. So that goes from, and then these little transitions, they talk to each other. Go to the inspector, we can see, and then they change based on these conditions, like speed. So it goes into the run animation if speed is greater than 0.01, and then you define these conditions in the movement script. So that's pretty cool, and stuff like crouch and jump too. And they're a little bit different for each one, but that's basically the gist of it. All right. I guess we can go on to the summary. Unity is a different program that can screw you over if you don't do something perfect. Like with scripts and stuff, if you get one semicolon wrong, it's not going to work. Same thing with a lot of Unity stuff. Coding is complicated, but makes sense in the end. Yeah, when you look at code, you can kind of see where the stuff is coming from. You can see what the purpose of it is. This was the least straightforward project I've done. Past projects has been pretty straightforward. The last one I did was Blender, and it was basically just I made an octopus. And once you got the tools figured out, it's like, go. And it was pretty straightforward. But this one, there's so many components to a game. The game has many more parts than you think to it. There you go. And then I'm gonna continue working on this game in the future. Hopefully, I want to add sound. I want to add an objective. I want to add a main menu. Those would be great. All right, that is my reflection video.